Winning football games is hard. To keep winning is even harder. But at times, the Bryant Hornets can make it look easy. 20 miles southwest of Little Rock, one team has distanced themselves from the rest, becoming the premier program Arkansas has to offer, and doing so in the state's highest classification. With a fitting motto of 212, the boiling point of water, Bryant has burned with a blue flame and shows no signs of cooling down.
Water can be hot at 211 degrees and it boils at 212 degrees. Hey, I'm 98.6 walking around every day, but it makes me an average guy. To be 212 takes you to another level. But at 210, you're just hot. The extra degree of preparation, the extra degree of effort, the extra degree of mindset, mentality, and all that takes a big hold on being good.
This is where the magic happens. Before 2018, Bryant had never won a football state championship. Now they've rattled off 4 straight and are looking for their 5th. In fact, the Hornets have not lost to an Arkansas opponent for over 50 games. The man behind the machine says it's been a heck of a ride, and it might only just be getting started.
Well, you can't win 2 in a row unless you win 1. You can't win 3 in a row unless you win 2. You can't win 4 in a row unless you win 3. These guys are starting for this year or last year, and that's about it. And they weren't here in the other 2. It's an expectation level. At the end of it, when we look back, we'll go, wow, this was an incredible run.
Hey, I love y'all more than you know.
You don't think about 50 in a row until you won your 50th. You don't think about 4 state championships till you have a chance to play for your 5th one. And those are things that you do when you're a champion. If you're winning the 100-yard dash, you don't look back to see who's coming. You know, you try to get to the finish line, and that's the way we've done it too. If you're on the 400-yard dash, I mean, it's a long race. You look at the people that are in front of you and you try to beat them, and I think that's what our kids are trying to do. They're trying to win it step by step, day by day, game by game.
Our legacy is at stake, and that's what we do, and that's who we are. We don't go out there and try to do things we're not capable of doing. We go out there and do what we can do.
Arkansas high school football has seen its fair share of dynasties, like Little Rock Central for most of the 1900s, Pine Bluff in the 90s, and Pulaski Academy since the turn of the century. But thanks to level of difficulty and modern competition, many believe Bryant teams of the 2010s and 2020s have claimed the throne as the most dominant football program that the natural state has ever seen. And that means having a target on your back each and every week in the fall.
To be able to overcome that and know that you're going to get everybody's best shot, regardless of what their season is or anything, they're going to dump water on the coach's head if they beat the Bryant Hornets. Well, at the end of the day, it's not about what offense we run or defense we run. It's about how we do it. And there's some people that don't ever have to kick or have to throw or have to run. They can do anything they want to and be successful. But at the highest classification, you're going to see somebody that can stop what you do. And then what you do off of that is going to be just as important, if not vital, to what you're trying to get accomplished. And you have to be multiple on offense. You have to be multiple on defense. You have to be really good in your special teams. There's a lot of teams that have great stats, great statistics, and do all that stuff, but don't win championships. And at the end of the day, it's about how well your team performs, not how well your individuals perform. And these guys can understand what it takes in a team concept. It propels them into the rest of their life. It's a big mountain, and you know, you fall off that mountain quick. But you look at the programs that were powerhouses in the 70s and 80s and 90s, and they're not powerhouses now, it's because something happened. You've got to learn, you've got to evolve, you've got to be able to understand what it takes. You've got to understand the discipline and the step-by-step process that it takes, and you've got to keep a grip on that.
Bryant's ascent to the mountaintop began after the 2015 season with the hire of Buck James, who played his college ball at Arkansas Monticello. After spending 5 seasons at Star City, Coach James transformed Camden Fairview into a state power, appearing in 3 state championships and winning one from 2005 to 2014. After a stint as an assistant at Little Rock Christian, he'd be given the chance to succeed Paul Cowley in leading the Hornets, and the rest, as they say, was history.
Bryant football has sort of evolved over the last 20 years. It really wasn't a very good program. I think they had 4 or 5 wins for the 50 or 60 years before then. In 2000, I think that's when it started changing at Bryant. They won 8 to 10 games for probably the last 8 or 9 years before I got here. The program was not in shambles. It wasn't like it had needed to be fixed. I thought those guys did a great job. If it hadn't been for those guys, we couldn't have done what we've done. the evolution of practice, the evolution of the weight room. We're going to lift 46 weeks a year, and we're going to lift 5 days a week. We're going to lift on game day. And, those are things that we believe in. Those are things that we think are a staple of our program. And that was probably our biggest hurdle from then to now. Now they understand you don't go to the weight room, you don't play football.
In the first 2 seasons under James, Bryant continued their winning ways with finishes of 9-4 and 10-2, ranked top 10 statewide, but coming short in playoffs. But after falling to North Little Rock in October of 2018, the Hornets would refuse to lose. That December at War Memorial, Bryant returned the favor to those same charging Wildcats, finishing 11-2 and earning their program's first state title. Bryant would go unbeaten at 13-0 the next 2 seasons, beating North Little Rock at state each year. In 2021, Bryant's only loss would come to Longview in Texas, rolling through in-state competition to win it all over Fayetteville. With their 4s up, all those seniors knew was winning. Yet, the hay still isn't in the barn. They say Bryant doesn't rebuild, they reload. The Hornets enter playoffs once again as outright 7A Central Conference champs, and without a loss to their name. Already at the top, their sights are set on staying there.
Have fun. Go out there and enjoy it. This is what the work's for.
I know what it feels like to lose a state championship. I know what it feels like to win a state championship, and I can promise you this, it's a lot better to win them than it is to lose them. And someday somebody's going to beat us, and it's like I tell them every day. If it's somebody who beats us and they deserve to beat us and they worked hard to beat us, I'll be the first one to go over there and shake their hand, because that's what it's about. It's about competition. It ain't about winning or losing. It's about being competitive. We're more athletic than we were probably our first year when we won the state championship. We run better. The one consistent thing I can say is we've been tough.
In the grand scheme of things, Arkansas isn't thought of nationally as a top state for high school football talent, but Bryant has helped change that, twice finishing a season inside the top 30 of national team rankings per Max Press. While winning the Salt Bowl and filling trophy cases are for Saline County and for the community of Bryant, the Hornets take pride in putting Arkansas on the map.
Yeah, we had a lot of players. Austin Ledbetter, what he was able to do. Ren Heffley, came in and helped transform the program from really trying to throw the ball first type mentality. The guys I'm probably most proud of are the guys who weren't the stars, who ended up contributing and playing at a high level and weren't necessarily good junior high players. They ended up being good players in the 11th or 12th grade. And the great players are always going to be on your teams, but these guys are really what we build our program off of. We create a winning culture in the 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, and we expect to be able to win. We expect to win in JV games. We expect to compete in every game that we play in. We've lost 1 JV game in the last 4 years, trying to find non-conference games. That's been our biggest hurdle, and you don't really realize where you're at until nobody wants to play you, and you have to go out of state to play your games and stuff. But that's what we want. We want big games. We want to play people that want to play in big-time games. I tell our kids all the time, I tell our coaches, I tell anybody, listen, big-time players make big-time plays in big-time games.
With every state title, every win added to an unthinkable streak, every athlete who takes his play to the next level, Buck James and his staff not only reshape the landscape of Arkansas football and set the bar higher, but they build a legacy that won't soon be forgotten.
Well, it's sort of surreal, to be honest with you. I just hope they remember that we did it the right way. It wasn't a cakewalk. We didn't cater to the kids. We didn't cater to the superstars. Every guy's treated the same, whether he's the worst player on the team or the best player on the team. We all have expectations for our kids. We expect them to do right. We expect them to be good teammates. We expect them to be good friends. It's a process from the beginning to the end, and hopefully that people will look back and say, those guys did it the right way.